teacher, founder of Zenith High and creator of Spirit Flow Shamanic Study programs. With over 30 years of study under some of the most gifted shamanic leaders and teachers in the U.S., she now travels widely, partnering with visionary leaders to share life-changing shamanic experiences. Located right here in the Twin Cities, Dr. Newstrom runs Zenith High Training Center and Wellness Center in St. Louis Park, so you can learn more about her transformative work at zenithhigh.com. So let's open our hearts and warmly welcome Dr. Mary Newstrom.
Thank you.
Questions for Dr. Mary Newstrom at any time? Just raise your hand and let me bring the microphone to you, okay?
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that, is the fact that let's make this a dialogue. I know the theme is laughter this month, and so my talk is going to be about levity and laughter for spiritual groundedness. But I'm going to do a little bit of drumming with Gaia, Mother Earth's heartbeat. And so everyone just feel the energy. Let it just resonate in your body, ground you and make you present here before we talk about laughter and lightness. This is the beat of our heart. This is the beat of earth, oneness. We're all interconnected, and we're interconnected with nature, with Mother Gaia. Maybe take a few deep breaths. If you know how to drop your grounding cords, do that. Soak in the vibration. Wow. Welcome, everyone. Come on back. You certainly don't need to disconnect with that heartbeat. But I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me back. My name's Dr. Mary Newstrom. A little bit about my background, if you haven't met me, is I've been working with my spirit guides, guardian angels, since the 80s. They came to me in a dream and really encouraged me to continue working on my own stuff and own issues so that I could go out and also help other people. Around that time, I also started doing some healing work, got attuned to Reiki, and through the different avenues, took my first shamanic journey in the 90s, but really things really came together when I started studying with the Shipibo shamans right around 2015, and they're in the Amazon basin of Peru, also working with very respected Western shamanic teachers, Sandra Ingerman and Betsy Bergstrom. So everything's kind of come to a head for me. And as mentioned, was as I travel around and really bring the message of what is an earth-based spirituality. That's shamanism. It is a belief we're all interconnected, but we're also interconnected with nature. And that's pretty much it. And then there's a little bit more to go to drill down in. But if you believe in that, you have a shamanic practice. When I do come to do a talk, I always ask, well, what's the theme? And as I mentioned, the theme is laughter. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about levity and laughter for spiritual grounding and growth, and what that means and how we can include that lightness in our spiritual development or connection. Because I think sometimes we may get bogged down. Now, there's a lot of things that, particularly in Minneapolis, that happened in the last week that could bog us down. Why should we be laughing? True. But overall, we really want to be able to be joyful as well as being able to go through life in a spiritual path. In many Native cultures and traditions, laughter is seen as a form of energy healing. And we know that that's becoming more widespread because I believe now they're doing yoga and breath work with laughter in it and chuckling. It clears any type of breath work, which would include laughter, clears stuck energy, lightens the spirit, restores harmony. And it probably was one of the first types of breath work that anybody did. If you think way back when, they weren't sitting around in a circle, let's do some breath work. They were probably telling stories and laughing, right? If you think about it. So laughter was the first type of breath work. So if anybody asks you, hey, do you do a particular type of breath work as a routine? Yes, I laugh. I laugh. Elders often say laughter is good medicine. We've heard that. It brings the community back. And it also helps release tension or grief when things are going on, when we can come into community and laugh. And that is because it brings that levity, and we are then raising our frequency because we're also moving that stuck energy. We feel better when we're laughing. If you're laughing, if you're doing a belly laugh, right? You're not going to say, oh, I'm feeling awful. You're feeling good. Some ceremonies intentionally weave in humor so that participants can stay grounded as they're doing the laughter, while they're moving through deep healing. And then my understanding is you've been exploring that in community here. Now, many ancestral Native individuals honor the trickster figure. So the trickster figure, which typically is seen as an animal, coyote, raven, hare. You know, I might even add fox in there. You might be thinking of an animal too. One thing I know that with spirit animals, because I teach shamanism, is that the meaning of the animals, spirit animals, is evolving and changing. So we don't want to get locked into what maybe it meant 300-400 years ago. Maybe for us, platypus is a trickster. So that's, to me, I want you to embrace that. But these type of trickster types of energy animals use humor, mischief, and paradox to teach spiritual lessons. And the reason why is also to keep us from being so rigid in our thinking, where we don't want to be so rigid with things have to be this way. If we're able to laugh, bring a little bit of lightness to a situation, maybe laugh at ourselves or the situation, it just adds to break up that heavy energy. So laughter is, in this sense, is both humbling and enlightening. It reminds people of their humanity while opening a doorway to spiritual wisdom. Now, one thing is I'm not going to talk about your guardian angels or spirit guides too much, but we're going to meet a spirit guide who has laughter and levity that they want to bring to you, but they are not as serious as some people think they are. Your guide's on the other side in a different dimension. In shamanism, we believe that we're here, but there's different dimensional, multiverses is the new term that we use now. But they're there, and they're observing. And when they're called in to help, they can also help you. But they have a great sense of humor. And actually, I will give you an example. In the 80s, I was a young kid going to the University of Minnesota. And no, I'm reflecting back. I don't remember this, and I wasn't processing it back then. Something must have been going on because I was calling in on my spirit guides. So as I reflect on that, I'm like, So I'm sure it was just something normal that a kid would be going through that, I just maybe was a couple years into college. And I decided to name my spirit guide, guardian angel, whatever term you want to use is fine, Gabriel. Okay, so if you grew up Catholic, you know that that's an archangel, right? So it's, okay. Well, that's when my guide came to me in a dream, and he's like, oh, no, that's not my name. And my joke is I was getting in trouble with the boss. And he had to come and tell me his name was Zenith, because it's not Gabriel, because his boss was sitting there, please go correct Mary. She keeps calling on me, and I'm too busy. So I got Zenith, and been working with them ever since. Just as a side note, I'm going to weave things in for different teachings, is your guardian angel will present themselves with what makes sense to you. So, I'm a kid from the suburbs, Minneapolis. So what do you think Zenith presented themselves like? A white, balding, middle-aged guy. Yeah. And as I look back on that, I'm like, totally makes sense, right? Typically, they're not going to present something in some way that's going to scare you. So it's like, and we were at a meditation workshop outside. So very similar to here, just imagine that we're outside. So they have a sense of humor. And so I tell people, they'll correct you if you're wrong. I got corrected. But it won't be punitive. That's what I'm trying to say. Have fun with your guides. Do not think it so seriously. And remember, they're your number one fans. They want you to succeed. But because we have sovereignty and free will, they can't help you till you ask. It's a little off topic, but like I said, I'm going to add these little zingers in there. So if you need help, I have people that come to me and say, well, my guides never help me. Well, are you asking? And then are you asking and then following through? Are you asking and really listening? There's a lot of different little pieces in there. Okay, back to left. Trickster energy. Okay. Laughter is community bonding. We come together, we're laughing, either a small chuckle or a big belly laugh. It builds community. So laughter is really important. Think of it as sound healing almost. Probably was one of the original things with that too. Breaks up the energy, builds community. Builds kinship and connection. Think of those that you have a connection to, that you can laugh and really joke with. I would imagine those might be some of your closest friends or acquaintances, right? You feel comfortable laughing. It's building up that community. And I don't know if anybody's thinking, what does this have to do with spirituality? This has everything to do with spirituality. The only thing we really have here is community and relationships. And that includes being connected to nature. That's why when we look at, reflect back and think of some animals that you've seen playing in nature, squirrels and chipmunks and maybe some birds, right? How about those birds that attach themselves, maybe like a smaller bird on an eagle Have you ever seen one catching a ride like that? Okay. I don't know if the eagle's having a grand time, but you know the one that's attached is. They're probably all laughing. So it has everything. Laughter and levity and lightness and not taking ourselves so seriously has everything to do with your spiritual growth. There's time for seriousness. There's time for that too. And we all can think back of those spiritual leaders in the community that, like the Dalai Lama. What are they known for? And they're known for a big smile, and they're laughing. When I work with the Shipibo shamans, they're just like the Dalai Lama. Everything's okay. There's a lot of laughter. It'll be okay. Even in difficult times, laughter is a good survival tool. It's a good way for mental health. Joking and storytelling. I was with a group of my students, and you're probably noticing how I tell stories. I kind of weave, and then I do some, I interject something, and then I weave back to the story. And they jokingly said, Mary, your storytelling is like a lazy river. It weaves around, but somehow it comes back. I kind of thought that was okay. Yeah. They're, of course, making good-natured fun of me, but I think it's very accurate. I weave through these stories. We all have stories to tell. Practice telling your story. What's your story? And you might have to reflect on it. Like I've had to reflect really back, well, what happened in the 80s? What happened in the 90s? Because people ask me, well, how did you get here? And I got here through weaving through life just like you did, and had traditional jobs, corporate jobs, nonprofit, taught at a university, explored my spirituality just like you are. And landed on shamanism. And by the way, I'm just as surprised as you are that I landed on shamanism, because I would think that as I was exploring spirituality in the 90s, no one talked about shamanism really. But there were people doing Wicca and paganism, that those are nature-based spiritualities too. And I thought, ooh, I think maybe this is it. And it wasn't. So keep searching till you find that spirituality that really fits like a jigsaw puzzle. That's what I did. In the way that it was when I was introduced to the Shipibo shamans that I went, oh, this is where I'm meant to be. And through that, Zenith, my guide, and my other guides have led me on this path to share this with you. Joking and storytelling are ways to maintain respect and warmth and connection to the community. And many communities do the laughter and levity as they weave it into sacredness. Laughter, joking, lightness keeps folks grounded so they don't get stuck in the heaviness of here where we are on earth. And please when I talk about joking and levity, of course, I'm talking about respectfully, being respectful. We don't make, jokes of people that are mean. So I know everybody knows that, but I'm going to state it. Playful animals, we already talked about it. Crows. Crows are very smart. They're very, very smart. Otters, ravens. We look at them and it reminds us to laugh, too. Observing these types of animals in nature teaches that humor is a natural and sacred part of creation. Now, I might be missing an aspect of nature. Maybe you see playfulness in plants. and how maybe a vine winds around a tree. That's a playfulness. So wherever you're seeing that playfulness and levity, and there's many things that can't live without something. And for example, a vine has to wrap itself around something, right? Either a tree or some structure. So in short, shamanic communities worldwide treat laughter not as a distraction from their spirituality, but as an addition to it. A vital spiritual practice itself, a way of maintaining balance, humility, and connection to life. Why laughter matters in spiritual work. Laughter as medicine releases tension. Humor as grounding forces connection to spirit. We already have talked about it, probably was one of the first types of breath work, laughter and humor. Ancient traditions, including shamanic lineages, honor play, trickster energy, and joy. And we already know that joy and unconditional love and being able to take ourselves maybe with a lightness is a high frequency. We talk a lot about that, vibration frequency. Those are high vibrational energies. And that's where we want to ultimately try to be most of the time. And so I'm not going to deny that sometimes we have those other emotions, but most of the time we want to create that type of opportunity. So at this point, too, in a few minutes, what I'm going to do is lead us through a guided meditation. For those that have joined me previously, it's going to be a little bit different, but same idea. So what my guides allow me to do, and so you should understand, too, when I say that I'm doing anything, I do nothing. It's all my guides. I don't know how this works. I only know it does work. And the one thing I said was yes to standing up here. But so if I ever, mess up and say I'm doing something, that is incorrect. They do everything. But what we're going to do in a few minutes is I'm going to take you through a guided meditation. They open a doorway, a portal to a different dimension, and you're going to meet someone that's going to teach you about laughter and levity and play in your life. But what I want to do right now is I'm just going to call in the elements and the guides, open up sacred space. I already did that before you came, but we want to just open up sacred space. Being in this room is sacred. And we just want to call in any of the spirit guides and healed ancestors that like to join us in this levity, calling in the different compassionate directions and elements. I don't know if people can feel that energy, but it's coming in. We're getting quite crowded. They're filling in all this empty spots. Okay. And then anyone that's not here for laughter and levity in the spirit sense must step outside. And we've opened up our sacred space. Oh, it's very powerful. I'm going to do a little rattling, and if you feel like laughing a little bit or imagining yourself laughing, just to get into the rhythm of it. Ha, ha, ha. If you want to, if not, just listen to the rattling, thinking of the breath work, what laughter really is like. Ha, ha, ha. Feeling that energy. If you're a little bit shy and don't want to laugh, just feel the energy from Mother Gaia coming up with the rattling, knowing that playfulness and laughter are really supported in all our multi-dimensions, our multiverses. And the smile. When you smile, you can't be saying, hey, I don't feel good. Smiling helps you too. Okay, no need to disconnect with the energy of your laughter. Sometimes when we get into a vibration too, you don't need to, disconnect from that. I am going to lead you on a guided meditation. Couple things is that I'll ask you to visualize, and I realize that sometimes people can't visualize. Do the best you can. And then other people sense, see, get a knowing. So everybody feels energy differently. All of it's perfect. Most people do not see things in a journey. We just hear about that or read about it because that's the easiest thing to write about. I don't think anybody here would read a book if I read something or wrote something that said what I smelled on my shamanic journey. See? Got a little bit of laughter out there. So you can imagine the books that people write are the ones, well, I saw this. Okay. All right. Okay. So with this, it's going to be different than what I have done in the past. So we're going to a mountain scene. I'm going to tell you to look around. We're going to find a waterfall. You're going to go in the waterfall for clearing, and then you're going to step beyond it. So everybody ready? All right. And then when we come back, we'll share a little bit. And the intention is to meet a playful guide. And this might just be a guide for today, right now in this moment, or it might be one that you've worked with, or it might be one that you work with in the future, okay? So everything's perfect. So the intention is to go to a different dimension. My guide's opening up the doorway. A shamanic dimension, it's called a middle world journey for those that know this type of stuff. And we're going to meet a playful guide that's going to share how you can bring more play into your life and more levity and laughter. Okay? All right. So if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. And just start imagining a beautiful, if maybe you've been there, maybe you've seen pictures, but you're in the mountains. And there is a waterfall, maybe a few different waterfalls. And you're looking around and you choose one of the waterfalls to go towards. Start walking towards that. Now at this point, you're feeling the sun. It's beautiful, it's a perfect temperature. Maybe there's a little wind, so you're getting the element of air. Definitely feeling earth because you're walking towards it, so Mother Gaia is beneath your feet. When you get to the waterfall, go ahead and step into it, and that's the element of water we're bringing in. Now, when we're in different dimensions, there's no physical limitations, so everybody can just step right in very easily, and the water is washing over you, and it's very refreshing. It's very playful and refreshing, and it's washing and it's cascading down. And then when it leaves you, it's cascading down the mountain. And Mother Earth is taking your stuck energy, your trauma, your hurts, your pains, and transmuting it into the mountain that is holding and containing it. And you might start seeing the water turning different colors as it's cascading over to you to resonate with your energy points called chakras, clearing and balancing those. Maybe a shimmering white or blue, pink, green, orange and red. We're just going to do another second or two with the cleansing, but you are now going to walk behind the waterfall. There's a path, there's a doorway, there's a portal. Go through that vortex, walking behind the waterfall, opening up to a beautiful prairie blessing field. And in that field it's beautiful, wildflowers. You're feeling balanced. You're feeling a lightness and levity to yourselves. And in that blessing field, you're seeing a guide. It can be in human form, animal form. And if there is no guide, then your lesson is there within nature. Maybe a tree or the wildflowers. Just observe if there's anything that's giving you insight and playfulness, laughter. Are they showing it to you? Are they telling you? And as everyone's leaning into this and exploring the blessing field with a guide that's either showing or telling you about laughter and how you can add that into your life, I'll rattle a little bit so everyone can just relax into this. Soak in also the blessing fields. Who's playful? What's playful? Is it a flower that's playful that you're observing? Is it a playful guide that's in animal form, human form? Are they showing you, or are they telling you, or is it a knowing? If you have a guide that wants to show you something, we have time for you to go with it, but just be back shortly. Don't be gone too long. Just another minute or so, learning about playfulness and laughter in your life. And you'll take this wisdom with you. If you're interacting with anyone, thank them, showing gratitude. That's a high frequency as well. We're going to make our way back to this rooms, and the way we do it is backtracking. So we're in their blessing field, we're saying thank you to the trees or the flowers, the sun, earth. Make your way back to that portal doorway that was into the waterfall, and if you have to just kind of imagine it, if you're not quite sure where it is, just create it. Coming through that portal, you're now back into the waterfall, which is cool and refreshing. You have all the wisdom that was given to you about how to add levity and playfulness and laughter into your life. Once again, letting the cool energy roll over you. Stepping out of the waterfall, letting the sun of the mountain scene dry you, and now imagining yourself coming back into this room, back into your body, disengaging from non-ordinary reality, further disengaging, and fully disengaged, you're back in your body now. So everybody should be feeling back in their body. Just give it a little bit of time to settle in. If you're not, just retrace your steps again. Usually it's because people went too fast. And just in a few minutes we'll share. I want to know what you learned, what insight you learned. But this is a way to take this wisdom that was given to you into a daily practice or a daily knowing. How can you incorporate this lightness and brightness into your life? People will notice. They'll notice if you're going through the world with a lightness of laughter, of humor. They're going to ask, wow. And then you can share how you got that insight, either through this and other ways, of course, through life lessons. I want to encourage you to be journaling or writing things down. How is this levity, this laughter, this lightness, how is it affecting you? How is it medicine in your life? How are you sharing that medicine? Continue to spend time in nature, noticing how playful things are. There was a dandelion, and this is just, I don't know how to explain it. I was just in awe, but this dandelion had extended itself, it wanted to be by something else. And I saw that it had extended itself, I would say like a foot, to be by another plant. So it was like this, and then it popped up next to another plant. That's lightness. I was like, wow, that is so neat. So the plant is showing a playfulness, and I'm looking at it going, this is incredible. So how are you approaching, how are you connecting with nature? How are you seeing that lightness and sacredness in what we see? So it doesn't just have to be with the animals that are, I think, easy to see. Oh, they're playing. I can see that they're playing. But are there plants and other things? This was really incredible. I'll never forget that dandelion. It clearly wanted to be by something else. It was like, I don't want to be here alone. So I'm going to extend my little stem for sideways for a foot, and then pop back up. Be playful. Be really lean into being playful. Be playful, laugh, take care of yourself. Yes, we are in a serious we have serious things going on. But you are going to be able to approach it in a much more balance and harmony when you also are balancing that out with laughing, breaking up the energy, connecting to nature, connecting with your community here, connecting with your family. So really lean into that and really being playful and laugh so that you really feel that lightness and that high frequency. I'm going to open up for questions, and thank you so much for inviting me today. I really love this topic. I'd like to hear when we stepped through the waterfall portal, what did you learn about being playful and laughter? And then any other feedback or questions?
Hi, Miss Mary.
Hi.
Thank you. Okay, so when I've done journeys with you before and met my guys, the last time there was this sign, remember that neon sign that said out to lunch? But this time,
Playful.
but this time there was a fairy, and it was the flitting fairy. And so this fairy had a little wand and was sprinkling fairy dust and saying, I'm too serious. I need to remember to be playful, even in the solemn moments or the sorrowful moments. I was directed to just put my hand on my heart or on my stomach and breathe and just remember the miracles all around us. And one of the miracles is being in this body breathing. So she was like, you're too serious. Lighten up. Think about the fairy dust.
Wonderful. Yes, fairies are very playful, and that is such an interesting story too, with the previous journey and then this journey too. Thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share?
First of all, thank you for having us. This is my first time here. So it was a really interesting visualization. I've done one before a long time ago, but this one particularly, I saw a fox and a bunch of animals, and I was running through the grass, and I wasn't like afraid. I've broken my ankle like 3 times, so I'm always afraid running in the grass. And we grew up in a farm, but I'm always like watching my steps and things because I don't want to hurt myself. And I found myself like running and not being afraid. And I was like, I'm holding on to like all of these scary bits about getting older and hurting myself and these sorts of things. And I'm a very playful person, but I just noticed, I was like, oh my gosh, this feels so nice to just run through the grass and not worry about anything. And it was just lovely, so thank you. And I don't know why I'm crying.
It's okay. That's a release too, right? Okay, it's very good. Thank you so much for sharing. That's why I like to mention as we go into different dimensions, not to be thinking, oh, I have some physical limitations. Well, I do too, so I know. If you asked me to step into a waterfall, I'd be like, I don't know. But hey, that's good when you're non-ordinary reality. That stuff doesn't exist. All right, who's next?
That's okay. Yeah, so I found myself in the nature,
Yep.
and on a swing.
Ooh.
And I was just, swinging back and forth.
Yep.
And just having lots of fun. And I was a little worried, because I walk in nature all the time, and I have my dog with me.
Yeah.
And so I asked somebody to take care of my dog. And they did. Okay, so then this swing got bigger and bigger, and I was just like, oh, this is, I'm just swinging higher and higher and higher. And then it was just like I went up into the sky, and an eagle came.
Ooh.
And so then I just hopped onto the eagle. And then it was just like, wait, I'm going to take you higher,
Ooh.
And so then the eagle took me on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And we went into another reality.
Probably the upper world. Mm-hmm. That would be my guess. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And so then when we got there was a circle of people.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, there's a place for you here.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So then the eagle dropped me down into
The circle?
The circle of people. And then I think you were giving us prompts or something, but they had me come out into the middle of the circle, and they said, you're far too serious.
Okay.
Don't take yourself so seriously.
Mm.
You have a lot more fun in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I really did not want to come back from there.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
telling you, I didn't.
Yep.
And it was very colorful,
Yeah.
too. And this other world had a lot of soft reds and oranges and, like a sunset kind of.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of color in all of it, and so I did come back, and thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Great story. Very common that people don't want to come back. You have to come back because that's a different dimension. This is our dimension, and we're here right now. But a person can go back. You just can't stay there. So I should have mentioned that. And thank you for coming back. Who else wants to share? Okay, great.
Hi. I had a little bit different experience. I lost my son, my youngest son, 17 years ago. His anniversary was 2 days ago. When he first passed away, I used to close my eyes, imagine being in a tunnel. Going through the tunnel, a door would open, I would step under this grassy grass lawn where it was a river, and he would be across the river. And when he passed because he had a bad heart. He was very sick. There he was healthy, and I would cross the bridge. I would stand and talk to him, and did that for quite a while. Hadn't done it for a while, and when you mentioned the waterfall, it just, in the last couple of days, I felt like I need to connect with him again. And when you mentioned the waterfall, to me it went like away. The tunnel opened up, everything opened up, and there was my son. That's why I stepped outside. And now, as I told Jason, he's here. He used to be with me all the time. He's here now. So that was my experience.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. We have time for a few more. Oh, there's one back there.
I feel like laughing. I just wanted to note that it's amazing how many had the similar experiences. The seriousness she had, you had. I ran in the grass, I had animals. I just thought I wanted to point out how cool it was that we all had very similar messages or experiences.
Yes, there's usually a theme in groups. Yeah.
So mine has to do with stop judging myself so much. And so, I didn't, even as I sit here, I'm still feeling
That's kind of the energy of our guides still here too. That's how
For
I feel
sure.
it. Yeah.
And so what I see is, I was thinking, I should see and feel the waterfall. I should. And so what then I started to experience was just blacks and grays, like all the different varied grayscale.
Okay.
The grayscale and movement. And I kept thinking, shape into something so I can see you, And so I think that's what it was for me, is just this sense of stop, trying to cognitive, stop
Yes.
trying to solve it, make it something, just be with it. And I found myself I felt my feet get heavy, my hands get heavy, and I just felt calm. So
Nice.
for me, it's stop judging, stop expecting too much of yourself, and just be.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So this isn't about my experience, but I've noticed a theme of take things less seriously, and it reminds me, I kind of have this obsession about near-death experiences, and a lot of them that I've listened to, before they come back, they won't be told their mission, but a lot of them will be told, stop taking things so seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we have time, but I have a question for you. From the shamanic traditions, what you've learned, is there anything we can apply about humor or stop taking things so seriously?
Yeah, great question. And I think all of this really tapping into your guides, using the laughter. And I think also when doing shamanic journeys and meditations is trying to be outside of your head. Be outside of it's so really kind of like being in more in a wonderment of what will happen instead of an expectation or I have to do this. And once you release I have to do this and lean into, gosh, I wonder what will happen. I wonder who will show up. I wonder when I open this, when this portal gets open, what's on the other side? That's the way to really approach things. I'm going to wrap things up. If this caught your attention or you want more classes like this, I do teach classes. I do one-on-one mentoring. I have a shamanic training program. I now am taking people to Peru to work with my shamans. If any of that interests you, afterwards I'll be sticking around and I can answer any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love the reminders. So this is the portion of our service where we ask you to help us share in the spiritual practice of giving. And as a reminder that your contributions here do more than just keep our lights on. They help create a space where inspiration, community, and connection can keep thriving. And rumor has it, our ushers will personally match dollar for every compliment that they receive as they come down the aisles. So just a rumor, folks, but let's give it a try anyway. And Gary's going to cue some music for us.
All right. Ooh, yeah. Well, oh yeah. Here we go, y'all. Sing a little message out to those of y'all who feel like you're struggling. Yeah, it's a simple song. Yeah. La, da, 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 da. Listen. Yesterday, a man stepped to me and said, how can you smile when your world is crumbling down? I said, here's my secret. When I wanna cry, I take a look around and I see that I'm getting by, and I hold on. Hold on. Change is coming. Change is coming. Hold on. Hold on. Don't you worry. Don't worry about a thing. Hold on. Hold on. You can make it. You can make it. Hold on. Hold on. Everything will be alright. Some people like to worry. Some people like to hide. Some people like to run away from the pain inside. Now that's your business. Do whatever you want to do. But if it don't work out, here's what you ought to do. Now just hold on. Hold on. Change is coming. Change is coming. Hold on. Hold on. Don't worry. Hold on.
All right. Now let us bless this offering. You can repeat after me. God's perfect love. God's perfect love. Blesses and multiplies. Blesses and multiplies. All that I give. All that I receive. And all that I am. May it be so. Within and around us. Thank you. And some parting words from Dr. Mary Newstrom. Yep. So what about in the middle, Gary?
Yeah, people.
Thank you. Circle up, hand to
Circle up,
hand, if you're okay with
everybody.
that.
Yeah. Someone may have to cut through, yeah. Yep. Hold on. Change is coming. Okay. Oh, what a good-looking group. Okay. I just had to say that. Oh, and thank you for showing up on the holiday weekend too. Appreciate it. It's a good group here, and we want the things we want to, or the entities we want to thank for showing up are spirit guides, and our guardian angels, our spirit animals, the spirits of plants. If you have an affinity and you love a plant, they might be a spirit guide, by the way. Especially we want to thank the spirits that came in to teach us about laughter and levity and playfulness when we went through our journey, and of course, opening up the doorway. We close the ceremony with love and light. We close the ceremony with love and light. We close the ceremony with love and light. For now, our work is done. Aho. Thank you, everyone. Woo!